Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam, and WWE SmackTalks, and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to another episode of Slamdown Livestream. Today you're going to notice things are a little bit different. The reason things are going to be a little bit different is we've changed a lot. I've just moved over to a brand new computer, a more up-to-date computer, so things are moving a lot quicker, but I'm still altering settings and stuff like this, so I wanted to have this computer completely finished before I started the show, but that hasn't happened because I didn't realise how big some of my files are. But we'll get there. I am also waiting on a new monitor and a new webcam coming as well, so there will be sadly no video stream. The video stream should return in a couple of weeks as soon as I've got this new webcam, because we're going to be going all HD, so we're all going forward. But I will inform of, when we actually go HD via Twitter at Slamdown Livestream. So now I'm always very critical on the WWE. I'm always very critical about Raw. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to be critical again. It was another poor showing. The only highlight for me of this show was actually the whole Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe part. Except for that, I just found everything boring, lackluster. It really, really was one of their poorest shows, in my opinion. We've seen so much better. To me, it's frustration. It's a frustration when the product can be a lot better. A lot can be done better, and it's like, okay, you're shoving the same crap down our throats. You're not. It's, to me, the problem with Raw is the writing. It is the writers. It's, if you look at the roster itself, it's a fantastic roster. It's, you've got fantastic wrestlers on Raw, but they're just being used in stupid crap. It's annoying because the maneuvers they're making is business maneuvers, not wrestling maneuvers, but which we already know. We already know that's how the product's going to be. It's, if we want to accept it or we want to fight back, it's hard. It really is hard. But for me, the whole highlight of Raw, and I will actually say it was the highlight of Raw, was the start of Raw. I think, the whole way they did the Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe was done perfectly. I I liked the way that Samoa Joe had no fear of Brock Lesnar. And that made me more intrigued. You know, to me, and I know people are going to hate me quoting this, Samoa Joe felt like the old Samoa Joe. He felt like the when he first started in Impact Wrestling, you know, when we had the aggressive, the kick-ass Samoa Joe. And so the way he's portrayed and the way he's used on Raw at the moment is fantastic. I just hope they do not let his momentum slide. Because I actually believe Samoa Joe could beat Brock Lesnar. And I think going forward, I think probably that would be the better way to go with Samoa Joe. You know, because you've got to think logically. Brock Lesnar is not going to be able to do every single show. Samoa Joe can. I think WWE needs to pull away from part-timers now. They need to keep with people who are on the roster, who are there week in, week out. Yes, I enjoyed seeing Brock, but it was like, okay, we're going to see him. He's not going to be back for a while. You know, that's what it felt. You know, the whole Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman in the ring, and then Samoa Joe coming down, the brawl starting, and I liked it where it had to be the superstars had to break these up. You know, security couldn't; they were attacking security. It was all down left, all down to the superstars to put them apart, and it was brilliant. You know, like I said, Raw can be amazing, but it's a lot of the other stuff that lets it down. But this, I think, should have been in later on in the show. You know, because then you could have kept your numbers up, knowing that Brock's going to be there. So if they left it to a bit later, people would have stayed tuned in just to see the whole Brock and Samoa Joe part. I think doing it at the start of the show, a lot of fans might have watched that section and then turned off. Because there's nothing really else that's keeping it interesting, in my opinion. But that whole part done brilliantly with the whole Joe doesn't fear Brock. The only thing that I would like to see is there add a stipulation to Great Balls of Fire and make it a submission match. You know, Eric Bischoff said it on is it Free as a Table? Free for Table, or whatever the thing's called. He said it perfectly. You know, you make that type of match, people will be interested in that, and it also evens the playing field because Samoa Joe has got the, you know, he's got the clutch, and Brock Lesnar's got that other submission move which we haven't seen him use in a long time. But then again, we've got to think Brock has only just beat Goldberg. So do you want to jeopardise Brock Lesnar's reputation as the Beast and make him lose again? That's another way things could come up unstuck. They've got to be very careful how they tread here and what way they go about this. Because with the way Brock's been used, and then going into this match, if they want to keep Brock Lesnar as the badass, you can't have Brock Lesnar lose to Joe. You can't do it. But then again, if he doesn't lose to Samoa Joe, fans will be upset. And it's like, if you put Brock against Finn Balor and Finn Balor wins, you'll be like, why'd you let Joe win if Balor can beat him? But I do feel like Brock needs to come off wrestling. I hate to say it, but it's how I feel. I think they need to move in another direction now. I think, you know, use the ones that are all there, the full-timers. That's the way I think they should go with it. We saw Liza Samson taking on Dean Ambrose. You know, playing this whole drifter gimmick. He sat in the ring, played his guitar, insulting fans. But then we did see that the Miz got involved as well. But thanks to that distraction, Samson managed to get the victory over Dean Ambrose, which Miz was seeing its payback through what happened to last week on Raw, where Dean Ambrose interrupted their celebration of winning the Intercontinental title. That is one that always buggers me, that one. WWE, if you're listening, just rename that bloody title to something easier. Oh, Jesus, I'm English and I can't even pronounce that one. Intercontinental, there we go. Got it out in the end. But yeah, we're obviously going to see more with the Dean Ambrose and Miz. Problem for me is, it just seems like it's always Dean Ambrose and Miz. It doesn't seem like they're... I'd rather see someone else go for it this time. To me, it's getting a bit stagnatant. I'm getting a bit bored of it, if I'm honest. I want to see something else. I really do. And that's no dig at Dean Ambrose or The Miz, because they're both phenomenal talents. It's just, I find it lackluster. I find it that they've took on each other so many times. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, that was that. After that, we saw Cedric Alexander taking on Noam Dar, which ended up in a squash match because Noam Dar was distracted with Alicia Fox on the phone. Right. I'm really not liking how Noam Dar is used. Really not. I've known, well, I can't say I've known, but I've seen Noam Dar on the indie circuit, especially in ICW, and I'm sorry, but it feels like he's getting a bit pushed down. He's, again, Noam Dar is a phenomenal talent. He's a phenomenal wrestler, and we're not seeing that. We're seeing him playing stupid shit. You know, he was the fun-loving guy, you know. Just not liking it. You know, I'd rather see Noam Dar tell Fox where to go and go back to the Noam Dar that we love. And I think that's the way they've got to go with this. Yes, I know the WWE are trying to do their own thing with superstars, but you know, look at the whole Cruiserweight division at the moment. It's just goddamn awful. Really is. And people are going to disagree with me, but I don't care, because I'm just going to say it how it is. The X division is better than the Cruiserweights. Especially now. Especially the way the whole X division has changed and gone back to its roots. I'm sorry, WWE could not compete with that. You know, they'd be silly and stupid too. You know, Impact Wrestling has got the X division perfectly. And the way the Cruiserweight are used, the way they're booked, it ain't going to work. You know, you've got a great athlete like Austin Aries, who was becoming one of the top dogs in Impact Wrestling. So much potential, a lot you can do with him. Good on the mic, good in the ring, and then the way they use him against Neville, and they make him lose out to Neville. I still can't get my head around that. You know, there would have been more of a pop if Austin Aries won that, and I believe that. You know, I think the fans would have gone, "Oh my god!" The fans would have cheered for Austin Aries, and also with Austin Aries' skill on the mic, the chemistry he has, you could have used that to your advantage. You know, in the long run, that would have done a lot better for the Cruiserweights. It would have helped out more. Like I said, I don't understand the way the WWE is going, the way the booking's being done. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I can't see how they think this is going to work. You know, 205 Live is one of their worst ratings, but they're still trying to push it. Still trying to make it great. It's not. It's never will be. But after that, we saw Seth Rollins confronting Bray Wyatt. Seth Rollins called Bray Wyatt a false prophet last week, and they are fighting words where the Eater of World comes from. So the former WWE champion and his time on Raw which of course are fighting words where Seth Rollins comes from. The Kingslayer interrupts Way preaching and confronts the pulpit, leading to a standoff with the Reaper of Souls himself, and still an unimpressed Rollins calling out Bray's MO of striking from the shadows. White insists that the architect did not want to go any further down this road than he already did. He gave Seth due respect for slaying a king, but a god he claims. Yeah, I just sat there bored watching it. It was meh. I know they're trying to find something to do with Bray Wyatt, but I think Bray Wyatt was a lot better on SmackDown than what he is on Raw. Again, I think he's another person being misused and badly booked. And it's what the WWE do best. And I've said it for a long run. We saw Apollo Crews against Callisto. I'm not going to say much about this because this is just getting fucking ridiculous. We saw Apollo Crews get the victory, and we saw Titus O'Neil trying to grab Cruiserweights and get him to join the team of the Titus brand, which is just ridiculous. What are they doing? Guys that can't really talk much or haven't got a good gimmick, stick them in the Titus brand. It's just ridiculous. What we're going to see, Kurt Hawkins next, or Bo Dallas join the Titus brand? It's getting stupid. We saw mixed tag team match, Sasha Banks, Mickie James and Brooks taking on Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax and Emma. It was a bit of a ball match, to be honest, but we did see Sasha Banks, Mickie James and Brooke get the win. And we saw Bayley wants to hug everybody. That's about it. This was quite interesting. We saw Heath Slater and Rhino taking on The Miz and a partner of Miz's choosing. Then we see a bear from last week that Miz attack come down. See, they're going into the stupid shit again. You know, we're the black rabbits. Now we've got a stupid bear. It's like, what the fuck? But the Miz also thought it was Dean Ambrose under there. Attacked the bear, pulled the bear's mask off, and it wasn't. Got back in the ring. The bear shoved the Miz, who hit into Maurice. And as they were shouting at each other, the bear took his head off, and it was Dean Ambrose, meaning they must have done a switcheroo at some point. Hits the Dirty D's on the Miz and puts Heath Slater over the top. That was it, really. We saw Neville attack Rich Swann. That's about it there. Another thing that's really pissing me off is they're burying. Oh, I'm not going to say burying. I hate that word. We saw Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson being misused again. We saw Big Kaz was attacked backstage, but we don't know by who. But Enzo Amore and Big Kaz took on Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson and end up losing. Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson decided to attack on Enzo Amore in the ring. The Big Show came out to help out. And then backstage, Enzo asked if it was Big Show that did the attack and said that Big Kaz was only one word to describe him and said the SAWFT. We saw the Raw Tag Team Champion Cesaro and Sheamus taking on the Hardys in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I quite enjoyed this match. This match did have me hooked. There were areas that I thought meh, But actually, I'll be honest, it did have me hooked. I can't fault this match. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It went in the right direction. I quite liked it that they got one fall, the Hardys got one fall, and then it ended in a draw. I will say that the Great Balls of Fire. This needs to be the end to this feud, because otherwise it's going to get stagnant, and I want to see the Hardys take on someone else. But no, I quite enjoyed this match. I think going into Great Balls of Fire, I think they should make a TLC match or go along that lines. I don't think it should be allowed out. I think it should be TLC. I think we should see the use of tables, ladders, and if what Matt is saying true, we could see some broken stuff. Is the best way to put it. But yeah, but for the whole card, it was the tag team match and the Samoa Joe Brock Lesnar was the only good appealing part to me. It was the only time I actually felt invested into Raw. The rest just felt lackluster. It really did, and I hate saying that. I hate being critical, but it's the facts. It wasn't great. But yeah, there's not much else I can really say about that. I will be back tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m. GMT, with the SmackDown review, and I'm really hoping SmackDown's going to be a lot better. I will be doing Money in the Bank review and also No Surrender review at some point, but also be patient with us. We will go back to video streaming as soon as I can get this HD webcam and a HD monitor. I've just spent a fortune on the tower itself, so I've got to get the other bits a bit later on. But I want to say thanks for everybody listening. Thanks for everybody who supports Slamdown. And I'll see you again tomorrow. This has been your host, Ashley Friend.